Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Opening the reverence. We reverence the Buddha, the perfectly enlightened one, the shower of the way. We reverence the Dhamma, the teaching of the Buddha, which leads from darkness to light. We reverence the Sangha, the fellowship of the Buddha's disciples that inspires and guides. Three refuges. Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dhammang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Five precepts. Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipata viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinādāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinādāna viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kāmesu miccācārā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musāvādā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suramēraya majjapamādāṭṭhānā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Surameraya majjapamādāṭṭhānā viramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
The positive precepts. With deeds of loving kindness, I purify my body. With open-handed generosity, I purify my body. With stillness, simplicity, and contentment, I purify my body. With truthful communication, I purify my speech. With mindfulness, clear and radiant, I purify my mind. Salutation to the three jewels, Buddha Vandana. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijjācarana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarathi sattha deva manusānaṁ buddho bhagavati Buddham jivita pariyanta tang saranam gacchami. Dhammavandana. Swakhato bhagavata dhammo samdittiko akaliko ehi passiko panayiko pachattam veditabbo vinyuhiti dhammam jivita pariyantam saranam gacchami. Sangha Vandana. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyayapatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samicipatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yadidam chattari purisa yugani Attha purisa puggala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo Dakhineyo anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punyaketang lokasati Sangham jivita pariyantang saranam gacchami. Reverence to the three jewels. We reverence the Buddha and aspire to follow him. The Buddha was born as we are born. What the Buddha overcame, we too can overcome. What the Buddha attained, we too can attain. We reverence the Dhamma and aspire to follow it with body, speech and mind until the end. The truth in all its aspects, the path in all its stages. We aspire to study, practice and realize. We reverence the Sangha and aspire to follow it. The fellowship of those who tread the way. As one by one we make our own commitment and ever winding circle the Sangha goes. Offerings to the Buddha, Adipa Puja, offering of lights. Ghanasarapaditena dipena tamadansina Tilokadipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang. Reverence in the Buddha, we offer candles. To him who is the light, we offer light. From his greater lamp, a lesser lamp we light within us, the lamp of Bodhi shining within our hearts. Sugandha Puja, offering of incense. Gandha sambhara yuttena dupena hang sugandhina pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana muttamang. Reverence in the Buddha, we offer incense, the fragrance of which pervades the air. The fragrance of the perfect lamp, sweeter than incense, spreads in all directions throughout the world. Pupa Puja, offering of flowers. Vannagandha gunopetang etang kusuma santatin pujayami munindasa siripada saroruhe pujemi buddhang kusumena nena punyena metena chahotu mokkam Uphan milayati atha idam me kayo tatayati vinasa bhavam. Reverence in the Buddha, we offer flowers. Flowers that today are fresh and sweetly blooming. Flowers that tomorrow are faded and fallen. Our bodies too, like flowers, will pass away. Paniya Puja, offering of water. Adhivase tuno bhante paniyam parikapitam anukampam upadaya patiganhatu muttamam. O Lord, the Blessed One, please accept this water as an offering to you out of great compassion for us. Panaka Puja, offering of fruit juice. Adhivase tuno bhante panakam parikapitam anukampam upadaya patiganhatu muttamam. O Lord, the Blessed One, may this fruit juice be kindly accepted by you out of great compassion for us. Sharing merits. May the merit gain in my acting thus alleviate the suffering of all beings. My personality throughout my existences, my processions and my merit in all three ways, I give up without regard to myself for the benefit of all beings. Ettavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavatacha ammehi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idam me jnatinam hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Rectification of faults. The evil which I have heaped up through my ignorance and foolishness, evil in the world of everyday experience, as well as evil in understanding and intelligence, all that I acknowledge to the Buddha, may the Lord receive this kindly, just as it is with its many faults. What is not good, O Blessed One, I shall not do again. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam achayam kamame bhante boripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam achayam kamame bhante boripanya tathagata. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katam achayam kamame bhante boripanya tathagata. Dedication. We dedicate this place to the three jewels, to the Buddha, the ideal of enlightenment to which we aspire, to the Dhamma, the path of the teaching which we follow, to the Sangha, the spiritual fellowship with one another which we enjoy. Here may no idle words be spoken, here may no unquiet thought disturb our minds. To the observance of the five precepts we dedicate this place. To the practice of meditation we dedicate this place. To the development of wisdom we dedicate this place. To the attainment of enlightenment we dedicate this place. Advice of all the Buddhas. Sabba papasa akaranam kusalasa upasampada sachitta pariyodapanam etam buddhana sasanam. Let us recite Metta Sutta, the discourse on loving kindness, page number 31. Karaniya madha kusalena Yantang santang padang abhisamecca Sakko ujuca sujuca Suvacoca samudu anatimani Santussa koca subharoca Appakicoca sallukavati Santindriyoca nipakoca Appagabho kulesu ananugiddho Naca buddhang samacare kinci Yena vinyu pare upavadeyum Sukhino va kemino hontu Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Ye keci pana bhutadhi Tasavadhavarava anavasesa Digava ye mahantava Majjhima rasa kanukathula Dittha eva addittha Ye chadure vasanti avidure Bhutava sambhave siva Sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta Naparo parang nikobeta Nati manyeta kata cinang kanci Vyarosana patiga sanya Nanya manyasa dukha micceya Mata yatha niyang puttang Ayusa eka putta manurakhe Evam pisabba bhutesu Manasang bhavaye aparimanang Mettang ca sabba lokasmin Manasang bhavaye aparimanang Uddhang adoca tiriyang ca Asang badang averang asapatang Tithang charang nisinnova Sayanova yavatasa vigata middho Etang sating adittheya Brahmametang viharang idhamahu Ditthing ca anupagamma silava Dassanena sampanno Kamesu vinaya gedang Nahi chatu gabbaseyang punareti ti Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us practice Metta Bhavana for a while. First of all, we radiate loving thoughts towards ourselves, then to others. Thinking, may I be free from suffering, may I be free from anger, may I be free from ill will, may I be free from enmity and anxiety, may I be well and happy. Then towards our parents, may my parents be well and happy, may they be free from suffering, may they be free from anger, may they be free from ill will, may they be free from enmity and anxiety, may my parents be well and happy. Then Then you can think about the family members, spouse, children, and other family members, thinking may they be well and happy, may they be free from suffering, free from anger, free from ill will, free from enmity and anxiety, may they be well and happy. Now we can bring our friends and all the relatives. May my relatives and friends be well and happy. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from anger and ill will. May they be free from enmity and anxiety. May my friends and all the relatives be well and happy. Then we can think all the neighbors and also all the unfriendly people. May they be well and happy, free from suffering, free from anger, free from ill will, free from enmity and anxiety. May they be well and happy. Then finally, all living beings, we can spread our loving thoughts towards them. May all living beings be well and happy. May they be free from suffering, free from anger, free from ill will, free from jealousy, free from enmity and anxiety. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. May all beings be well and happy. Yes, practice mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation on breathing. We call it Pali Anapanasati Bhavana. Breathing in and out mindfully. We have to close our eyes gently and keep back straight and relax all the muscles of the body, especially muscles on the face and neck, shoulders and the other part of the body. And also we have to relax our mind. We have to forget all the past things and events, and also the plans in the future. And we can think to ourselves, my mind is calm, my mind is pure, no any disturbances and negative thoughts. Now we can take deep breath 3-4 times, and we practice breathing in and out normal way. When we take it into three parts: breathing in at the beginning, middle, and also the end. Breathing out also we can divide it into three parts: breathing out at the beginning, middle, and also end. Okay, let us practice for a few minutes mindfully breathing in and out. In the Dhamma. Today I am going to explain the ennobling virtues of Panchasila. This is very important for all lay people and also monks. Morality is very important things for our life. Morality is some sort of ethical code, can be seen in each society as well as in religion to preserve values associated with it. Because all human beings are not of the same nature. Some violate ethics knowingly or unknowingly, and probably this creates problematic behaviors, destroying peace and harmony in the society. Each religion introduces its own ethical code to followers, and it can be defined in a way as morality or wholesome behavior. Morality in Buddhist teaching to develop mundane life as well as lays foundation for the enhancement of spiritual life. In addition, the practice of morality had been as peculiar custom even before the emergence of Buddhism, and ancient Indian people maintained a form of morality to upgrade their spirituality. Morality is the restraint or control or suppression of desires through body and speech. In other words, sila is the refrain from unwholesome verbal and physical actions propelled by the defiled mind. Therefore, the Buddha prescribed different types of precepts. Ethical deportments for his disciples, the laity and the ordained to establish morality. In general, 5 precepts can be practiced by each and every individual regardless of caste, creed, race or territorial diversity to uplift one's morality conformity with Buddhist teachings. The 5 precepts are the fundamental rules in Buddhism prescribed by the Buddha for lay followers, which can be observed in day-to-day life. If anyone overpasses 5 precepts, he uproots tree of self. There are 2 verses in Dhammapada, the verses number 246 and 247. It says, whoso in this world destroys life, destroys life, tells lies, takes what is not given, goes to others' wives, and is addicted to intoxicating drinks, such a one digs up his own route in this world. In this context, a person compared to a tree by the Buddha and those 5 precepts to the 5 principal roots of tree. If one deviates or cuts one by one of these precepts, he is confronted with calamity of his own immoral actions. Morality should be practiced uninterruptedly to receive magnificent results. Because some people are unable to continue it, even they observe it due to some reasons, as some sources disclose. Here is an example. Venerable Sariputta instructed some wicked hunters as well as anglers to observe precepts, and they also did it since their faith at him, but forget the observation quickly. It seems that the minds of those people are polluted or filled with mental diseases. These are some explanations about Sila. Establishment of morality, which is common to Theravada and Mahayana Buddhism, is the restraint in bodily actions and verbal actions. Development of wholesome bodily and verbal actions forms the foundation for both traditions, Theravada and Mahayana. The Buddhist morality or Sila, which is Samma Vacha, right speech, Samma Kammanta, right action, and Samma Ajiva, right livelihood, is known as the foundation constituent in the Noble Eightfold Path. Sila, right speech, right action, and right livelihood constitutes morality section. In Pali we call Sila Kanda of the Noble Eightfold Path or Arya Attangika Magga. In fact, morality is the performance of wholesome actions with the intention or chetana to correct unwholesome actions, which is manifested in body, speech and mind, and reflect on 10 wholesome actions or dasa kusala kamma to remedy for the unwholesome actions or dasa akusala kamma. Purity of morality or Sila Visuddhi is the purification attained through refraining from bodily and verbal misconduct as well as from unwholesome livelihood. It is the non-transgression through body and speech of the basic precepts regulating the moral life, developing into the habitual conformation to the principles of righteous conduct. It is not the mere outward behavioral control. The moral purity, which is of deeper and more psychological significance, is the inner purifications of character. Thus, the two-dimensional quality of moral purity is the purification of conduct and the purification of character. The 5 precepts of Panchasila is the foundation in this regard. The basic morality is the 5 precepts of Panchasila for laity. The 8 precepts also are Attanga Sila for lay people, and the 10 precepts Dasa Sila for novice monks and nuns. The overall ethical behavior, 227 moral rules, we call Bhikkhu Patimokkha, are for fully ordained monks, and 311 moral rules in Pali we call Bhikkhuni Patimokkha for fully ordained nuns. There are two types of sila explained in the commentary. The first one is Charita Sila, the second one is Varita Sila. Charita Sila means developed, or in Pali we call Kusalasa Upasampada, do good or respect, obedient, help, charity and protect. Varita Sila means avoidance. Papasa Akaraman, do not bad. Abandoning, refraining, restraint, non-transgression. For example, killing, stealing, drinking, intoxicant, etc. There are these three kinds of purity or Visuddhi explained in Visuddhimagga, the commentary. The first one, Kaya Visuddhi, bodily purity. The second one, Vachi Visuddhi, verbal purity. And the third one, Chitta Visuddhi, mental purity. Kaya and Vachi Visuddhi refers to Sila category, and Chitta Visuddhi refer to Bhavana or meditation. In Visuddhimagga says or explains like this: no Ganga, Jamuna, Sarabu, Saraswati or noble river of Mahi is able to wash out the stain in things that here in the world. For only virtuous water can wash out the stain in living beings. The explanation in Visuddhimagga. Sila is a mode of mind and volition manifested in a speech or bodily action. It is the foundation of the whole Buddhist practice. In Jata Sutta, the sutta from Sangyutta Nikaya Devata Sangyutta, the Devata, a deity, went to the Buddha and he asked the question, not question, just he says the stanza is like a question. He said, a tangle inside, a tangle outside. This generation is tangled in a tangle. I ask you this, O Gautama, who can disentangle this tangle? Then the Buddha answered like this. This is very famous stanza. Sile patittaya narosa panyo, chittang panyancha bhavayan. Then like that way, Buddha says, a man established on virtue, wise, developing the mind and wisdom, a bhikkhu, ardent and direct, discreet, he can disentangle this tangle. Then another explanation about sila in the commentary, Kaya Vachanam Samvaro Silam. The meaning of that saying is, sila means discipline of the body and speech. Then there's a sutta called Sonadanda Sutta in Digha Nikaya, sutta number 4. The dialogue with Sonadanda and Buddha. Buddha said, Sila Paryodatang Panya, Panya Paryodatang Sila. In English, so it is Brahmin. Wisdom is purified by morality, and morality is purified by wisdom. Where one is, the other is. The moral man has wisdom and the wise man has morality. And the combination of morality and wisdom is called the highest thing in the world. The Buddha further explained the Sila like this way: abandoning the taking of life, it dwells refraining from taking life. Without sticks or sword, scrupulous, compassionate, trembling for the welfare of all living beings, and so forth. Then these Panchasila or ennobling virtues explain this way the 5 precepts. These basic training rules are observed by all lay Buddhists. I think you know in Pali, Panatipata Veramani, Sikkhapadan Samadhiyam is the first precept. I undertake the precept to refrain from destroying living creatures. The second one, Adinadana Veramani, Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami, I undertake the precept to refrain from taking what is not given. The third one, Kamesu Michachara Veramani, Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami, I undertake the precept to refrain from sexual misconduct. Number 4, Musavada Veramani, Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami, I undertake the precepts to refrain from incorrect speech. Then the last one, Surameraya, Manchapama Dattana Veramani, Sikkhapadan Samadhiyami, I undertake the precept to refrain from intoxicating drinks and drugs which leads to carelessness. You know, one sutta from Anguttara Nikaya, books 4, sutta number 99, is called in Pali Sikha Sutta. Sikha means training sutta. This sutta elucidates that an individual who practices virtue for his own benefit and for that of others. That sutta explains the precepts like this. Number 1, abstaining from the taking of life and encourages others in undertaking abstinence from the taking of life. The second one, he himself abstains from stealing and encourages others in undertaking abstinence from stealing. The third one, he himself abstains from sexual misconduct and encourages others in undertaking abstinence from sexual misconduct. Number 4, he himself abstains from lying and encourages others to undertaking abstinence from lying. The last one, he himself abstains from intoxicants that cause heedlessness and encourages others in undertaking abstinence from intoxicants that cause heedlessness. According to this explanation, it shows 5 things related to the precepts. Those are: number 1, refrain from it. Number 2, observe it. Number 3, practice it. Number 4, encourage others. And last one, admire who practice it. Then the significance of morality according to the suttas. The violation of moral precept through bodily and verbal actions is inwardly propelled by the noxious trio: greed, hatred and delusion, lobha, dosa, moha. These are called akusala mula. Refrain from the volition of the moral discipline reinforces the outward suppression of harmful mental factors and in turn helps one to suppress the inward detrimental factors. As a whole, moral restraint and moral purity establish sound outward conditions which help inward progress. The minimal moral discipline generally for all the Buddhist path seekers designated in Buddhism is the five moral precept or Panchasila. As far as the household life is concerned, Panchasila is designated for the lay people, Upasaka and Upasika. One of the most indispensable prerequisites or preliminaries for laying foundation for the progress of meditation is the purification of morality, as it is endowed with psychological strength such as non-remorse, joy and rapture. This helps a meditator to remain psychologically undisturbed and inwardly calm, and to help maintain concentration during his practice, meditation practice. In the training sutta of Anguttara Nikaya, practicing sila explained this way, that the sutta Anguttara Nikaya, books 9, sutta number 73. Buddha says, because there are these 5 setbacks in the training. What 5? The destruction of life, taking what is not given, sexual misconduct, false speech and indulging in liquor, wine and intoxicants, the basis for heedlessness. These are the 5 setbacks in the training. Then further Buddha explains the 4 right strivings are to be developed for abandoning these 5 setbacks in the training. Then Buddha says what for? Number 1, a bhikkhu generates desire for the non-arising of unarisen, bad, unwholesome qualities. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. Number 2, he generates desire for the abandoning of arisen, bad, unwholesome qualities. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. Number 3, he generates desire for the horizon of unarisen, wholesome qualities. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind and strives. The first 2 about unwholesome, the other 2 is wholesome actions. The 4th one, last one, he generates desire for the maintenance of arisen, wholesome qualities, for their non-decline, increase, expansion and fulfillment by development. He makes an effort, arouses energy, applies his mind, and strives. These four right strivings are to be developed for abandoning these 5 setbacks in the training. The self-torment Sutta, also from Anguttara Nikaya, books 4, Sutta number 198, the self-torment, explains training and way of life. And we can say this is higher spiritual training. Here explains 7 types of training ways or 7 Sikkhapada. Number 1, having abandoned the destruction of life, he abstains from the destruction of life. With the rod and weapon laid aside, conscientious and kindly dwells compassionate toward all living beings. Number 2, having abandoned the taking what is not given, he takes only what is given, expects only what is given, and dwells honestly without thoughts of theft. Third one, having abandoned sexual activity, he observes celibacy, living apart, abstaining from sexual intercourse, the common person's practice. Number 4, having abandoned false speech, he abstains from false speech, he speaks truth and hears truth. He is trustworthy and reliable, no deceiver of the world. Then number 5, having abandoned divisive speech, he abstains from divisive speech. He does not repeat elsewhere what he has heard here in order to divide those people from these, nor does he repeat to those what he has heard elsewhere in order to divide those people from those. Thus he is one who reunites those who are divided, a promoter of unity, who enjoys concord, rejoices in concord, delights in concord, speaker of words that promote concord. Then the number 6, having abandoned harsh speech, he abstains from harsh speech. He speaks words that are gentle, pleasing to ear, lovable, words that go to the heart, courteous words that are desired by many people and agreeable to many people. The last one, having abandoned idle chatter, he abstains from idle chatter. He speaks at a proper time, speaks what is truthful, speaks what is beneficial, speaks on the Dhamma and discipline. At the proper time he speaks such words as are worth recording, seasonable, succinct and beneficial. This sutta, there's no 5th precept explained. The 5th one, intoxicating drinks. Then the one, once the Buddha said, this also a saying of the Buddha, Sangvasena ko Maharaja Silang Veditabang. O great king, virtues should be known by associating throughout a long time mindfully and that too someone who attains wisely, not in a hurry. Then this first precept based on compassion prohibits killing, hunting and torturing. The second forbids stealing, actions supporting stealing and actions analogous to stealing. This is to secure observance of others' right regarding their property. The third is meant as a guide against perverse sexual actions and unfaithfulness in marriage life. The fourth emphasizes truthfulness and includes avoidance of telling direct and indirect falsehood and the breaking of promises. The fifth is to prevent indulgence in intoxicants. The first precept is based on the virtues of loving kindness and compassion. The second calls for energy and effort in following the right means of earning one's livelihood. For the perfection of the third precept, there is laid down a set of reciprocal values between husband and wife. This is faithfulness to contentment with each other. The positive practices supporting the fourth precept are four kinds. Fidelity in the performance of one's duty. The second one, truthfulness towards a loyalty. Third one, truthfulness towards one's superiors. And the last one, gratitude towards one's benefactor. This first precept prohibits the killing of oneself as well as others. Suicide is thus regarded as a serious crime from the standpoint of both religion and the state law. Only those who give themselves up to the miseries of life can resort to such a practice. But they should never overlook the fact that birth at the level of a human being is a rare event and very difficult to obtain in the various worlds of sentient existence. It is therefore exceedingly bad that a person once in possession of this valuable birth should do away with it in so foolish a manner. Since death is sure to come, whether one wants it or not. The essence of the matter is in whether or not the killing is done with a purpose overpowered by a strong evil desire. Thus, killing for the sake of earning a living may in some cases not be regarded as a sufficient cause when a person, in spite of the fact that he is able to earn his living by some other means, still prefers doing so in this disgraceful fashion because of a strong greedy. In absolute terms and from the moral point of view, the act of killing is always wrong as it is against the first precept. From the karmic standpoint, however, there can be a great difference in both the degree and the amount of evil committed when the three bases of judgment, those three bases are object, motive and effort, are taken into account both individually and collectively. The second precept, this precept prohibits an offense against other people's property, thereby encouraging a right means of livelihood. It is based on the fact that everyone has the right to the ownership over his own property. He who refuses to obey this universal law transgresses the second precept. He has committed an evil action. Broadly speaking, there are 3 degrees of stealing: direct stealing, indirect stealing and actions analogous to stealing. The direct stealings like these are stealing, snatching, extortion, gang robbery, lying, deceit, imitation, breaking of promises, pilfering, change, smuggling and embezzlement. These are the direct stealings. Then indirect stealing means that conduct which, although not direct forms of theft as earlier ones, are closely associated with them and considered equally blameworthy. Those are to acting as an accomplice, 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 exploiting, accepting bribery, etc. The third precept, the underlying purpose of this precept is to prevent disunity and to promote mutual trust. It is marriage life that makes two people, both strangers to each other, become one in body and mind. But with the intervention of a third person, the unity between the two is severed, resulting in bitter hatred and revenge. This immoral practice of the part of a third person cuts the ground from beneath the foundations of human society, in that it breeds jealousy, suspicion and unrest in previously peaceful families where two persons are tenderly devoted to each other. Adultery is both a crime and evil, a heavy penalty being inflicted in the realm of moral conduct and that of the country law. As far as the law of karma or morality is concerned, it is as a rule differentiated by the 3 standards of object, volition and effort. Those who want to marry should find a mate from among those who are not forbidden to them. It is through a healthy union that both will be equal parents in society as well as in private, in times of sickness and as well as health. The 4th precept. This precept includes all degrees and types of falsehood. It is the aim of this precept to avoid verbally injuring another's name or reputation. It is natural that everyone should expect truthfulness from everyone else in whatever matter is being communicated. This part of the universal law, and he who violates it by telling falsehood is committing an evil action. There are three kinds of falsehood: direct falsehood, indirect falsehood, and the breaking of promises. The direct falsehoods are downright lie, oath breaking, vile, W-I-L-E, hypocrisy, exaggeration, concealment, etc. Indirect falsehoods are injuring words, sarcasm, insult, thoughtless lie, insinuation, or unpleasant hint. Then the last precept, the fifth one: through our own foolishness with liquor, we become impulsive and are driven to emotional action or even go insane or crazy. There will be no greater regret than this. Such, however, is only the moral side of a person's affairs. Often are more serious troubles which follows. This may be a fine, imprisonment, injury, or dismissal from a position in disgrace. According to the scriptures, especially in Sigalovada Sutta, the evil of taking into intoxicating drinks are 6 kinds. Disadvantages of taking intoxicants. Number 1, it is a waste of money. Number 2, it often leads to quarrels. Number 3, it is harmful to one's health. Number 4, it is a cause of disgrace. Number 5, it leads to impudent actions. And number 6, it weakens a person's power of reason or knowledge. Violation of this precept often leads a person to the 4 previously mentioned evils. It is because of this fact the Buddha laid down the 5th precept, for when this precept is strictly observed, the chance for committing the 4 other evils will be greatly reduced, if not eliminated. These 5 precepts have been formulated for the welfare and security of everyone, and their observance means peace and happiness not only of the individual understanding to preserve them in purity, but also to all others with whom he has contact. Then finally, I would like to explain the good results of practicing this sila, the wholesome results gained by keeping the 5 precepts. Number 1, when you keep or do not violate the first one, these are the advantages or good results. Number 1, no physical disabilities. The next one, no dry and lifeless look. Number 3, no weakness and sluggishness. Next, no fear of dangers. Next one, no fear of being killed. No others and committing suicide. No lots of diseases, no loss of friends, and no short life. Then the second precept, no poverty, no loss of your belongings. To the 5 enemies, these are the 5 enemies: water or flood, fire or conflagrations, thieves, tyrants or bad leaders, and unloved heirs like bad sons and daughters. Then number 3, Kamesu Michachara Veramani, not hated by many, not lots of enemies, peace and happy family, no fear and embarrassment, no physical deformities, no much worries, and no separation from your loved ones. Then the 4th one, the advantages of good results: no unclear speech, no crooked teeth, no foul mouth, no dull senses, no lack of honor, no roughness in speech, and no lack of calm. The last one, no loss of judgment, not being lazy, not being forgetful, not being insane, sense of gratitude, moral shame, and moral fear. Those are the good results to keep in 5 precepts. Okay. The end of the Dhamma talk. Okay, now we terminate this service. You come to Buddhist library and observe 5 precepts, and we offered offerings to the Buddha, remembering the qualities of the Buddha and also Dhamma and Sangha, and we practiced loving kindness meditation, we chanted Metta Sutta, and also we practiced mindfulness meditation, listen to the Dhamma. Practicing these Dana, Sila, Bhavana, you accrue a lot of merits. We can share these merits with our departed relatives. May they receive our merits. May they enjoy our merits wherever they may be. And also we can share these merits with deities. And finally, due to these merits and also by the power of Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, may no harm come to you, may no difficulties come to you, may no problems come to you. May you always meet with success, peace, happiness, good luck and good health. Finally, may all members in the families and friends attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana one day. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabbe buddha balapatta pache kanang chayang balang araham tanang cha tejena rakham bandhami sampaso sampitiyo vivachantu samparogo vinasatu mate bhavatvantarayo sukhi digayuko bhava bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakhantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sotti bhavantu te. Sadhu, sadhu.